My name is Sergeant Bryers, and today you are here to learn about lifelong learning. So before we get started, I need to go over my risk assessment. Today's risk assessment will be low. However, we need to be cognizant of our surroundings, and if there is a fire, you will exit out that door directly behind you, and in the event of that door being blocked, you'll exit out the window directly behind me. So first I'll go over our agenda for the day. We'll be discussing what is lifelong learning, where can I become a learner, characteristics of a lifelong learner, the importance of becoming a lifelong learner, and the successful development versus failure of a lifelong learner. So, what is lifelong learning? Lifelong learning is not necessarily a thing, but it's more of a person. I like to call them learners. I call them learners because they're individuals who seek out educations for themselves on topics they are most interested in. These topics can include anything. However, the learners cannot be forced in to any sort of education system by their bosses, superiors, so on and so forth. We'll go over that again later. So, another main topic with lifelong learning, they have to be self-driven. If the learner is not self-driven, they will not be successful. A main focus will be on personal development, and you can obtain lifelong learning in a formal or an informal setting. One thing we always need to remember with lifelong learning, it is not a skill. I'll say that again, lifelong learning is not a skill you can learn. It is something you have to do. So you may be asking yourself, where can I become a lifelong learner? Well, there's two types of lifelong learning. There is the formal setting for lifelong learning and the informal setting for lifelong learning. The formal setting will include things such as technical institutes where you can learn a wide variety of topics. You can work on repairing HVAC systems, you can work on repairing phone lines, you can learn how to weld. It's stuff as simple as that. Another formal setting would be a university. So a university, obviously, it's a college. What can you study at colleges? Almost anything. However, there's one final one that I need to go over as well, schools. This is not only specific schools because every job in the world has schools you can go to. Obviously in the Army, we can go to schools such as Air Assault, Airborne, Pathfinder, Ranger. There's a billion different options of schools to go for, whether you're in the Army or the civilian workforce. So now we'll be going over some of the characteristics of lifelong learning. So you may ask yourself, why do characteristics matter? Well, because characteristics will fall, they have the biggest importance whether or not you will be a successful lifelong learner or a failure. Obviously, no one here wants to be a failure as a learner. So, biggest thing, you need to be self-motivated. Again, self-motivation will be the key in success to becoming a lifelong learner. If you are not self-motivated, or you do not have the drive to learn new things, lifelong learning is not for you. You need to seek out instruction on your own accord. If you do not seek out instruction on your own accord, you will be a failure of a lifelong learner as well. Self-teaching is always an option. You can learn by doing. For myself, I learn by doing far better than I learn how to learn by reading. If I go out and do something instead of going out and reading it, I can learn far better from that. Another very important characteristic of lifelong learning, which this may sound kind of odd, but it is a low to no cost system of learning. However, for us in the Army, doing it the low to no cost way is incredibly simple. We have things such as tuition assistance that can greatly support our lifelong learning objectives as they have supported mine. For myself, I've used the tuition assistance to go to college for about 1.5 years now, and it has greatly paid off. It has opened a lot of doors, which again, we'll go into that in a little bit. So like I said before, I just need to harp on this because this is the biggest thing. Voluntary, voluntary, voluntary. If you do not seek out your own instruction, or you do not self-initiate it, you will be a failure as a lifelong learner. I say this because people that are forced into learning new topics that they might not necessarily want to learn about will put the minimal amount of effort into learning it. They will not make time for it, they will not produce good work, and they will just not plain want to learn it. To be successful in lifelong learning, you need to continue to learn about the topic. If you do not learn about the topic, then there is no point in attempting to become a lifelong learner. I can tell you, personally for me, the importance of lifelong learning is off the charts. It has opened so many new doors since I have begun learning new skills, relearning skills that I've lost in the past because I don't do them every day. I don't do math every day. I don't practice English every day. Well, I should say I don't practice writing every day. So, again, lifelong learning will open new doors for you. It will it can put you into new career paths you never would have thought of. It can show you new career paths that you didn't even know existed. It will improve your quality of life tremendously. You have to remember, knowledge is power. I say this because, for myself, I like to work smarter, not harder. Why do I like that? It's not because I'm lazy. I'm not a lazy individual. But why work hard when you can do something the smart way? It will also help you explore, learn, and grow. Human beings have a primal desire to explore things. We have a primal desire to learn things, and we also grow. We have a need to grow as human beings. Without that, we would go back in time and we wouldn't have half the inventions we do now. Lifelong learning can also provide you an immense amount of personal fulfillment. I say this, and I truly believe this, because the first time I ever received an A for a class, it was like, holy cow, I did it. I was very proud of myself. It gave me a huge boost of self-confidence. I was just baffled with the fact that I could actually do something like this. So for a successful versus a failed learner, a successful learner, again, I harped on this earlier, but they have to seek out instruction themselves. If they do not, they are being forced into it, and that is not lifelong learning. That is forced learning. That is what we do not want. A successful learner will also be able to motivate themselves. They will be able to turn in their work on time and not have any issues. A failed learner will be forced into it. They will not want to do it. They will not attempt to learn. They will not go above and beyond like a successful learner would. For some benefits for becoming a lifelong learner would improve your quality of life, your self-confidence. It would definitely reduce your boredom, as it has for me. I know I'm too busy majority of the time with either work or school to be bored. There's no time to be bored. Self-motivation, always. If you are becoming a lifelong learner has motivated myself so much that I plan to get my degree in nursing. Is something I never planned to do before. Also, it has opened a lot of diverse perspectives for me. I continuously learn about things that I've never thought of before, and it's helped me at work. It's helped me in my personal life. It's helped me in my family life. It's helped me everywhere. And for that, so today we covered the 6 major components of lifelong learning and how everyone can benefit from being one. And I'd just like to read off a little quote by Alexander Graham Bell. There cannot be mental atrophy in any person who continues to observe, remember what he observes, and to seek answers for his unceasing hows and whys about things. Any questions? Thank you.